Hey everyone, how are you? I'm Randy Floyd and you're watching episode 2 of the Ask Midwest Anxiety show.
Hi, what I'm doing?
Hey, what's happening? You want to get in on the camera here?
No.
No? I'm Randy. What's your name?
Sydney.
Sydney. What grade are you in?
Second.
Second grade. Do you want to say anything to the camera here?
Hi.
This is Sydney. She's at Quarter Bakery eating lunch. Yeah? You're how old?
7.5.
She's 7.5. You got any, is this your friend here, or your sister?
Yeah.
You want to tell her to say hi? Nah? Alright.
When this life gets a little tough, the people start to run. Well, don't you just walk away? That's when I'll say, well, don't give.
Well, wasn't that really cool? Hey to you, Sydney. Really appreciate you coming over and saying hi to me. This is the second episode of the Ask Midwest Anxiety show. We're here at Corner Bakery. I wasn't scheduled to film today, but this is a great day. I wanted to get out and just be out in the community. Wanted to connect with you on this second episode and just get out and experience this day. And I really wanted to shoot this second episode. So here we are at the Corner Bakery in Overland Park, and just getting ready to shoot this, bring you lots of good content, answering your questions. Totally love where this first episode of the Ask Midwest Anxiety show, we filmed it from Prairie Fire, and it was another great day. It's a little windy out today. Hopefully you're not getting too much wind here in the show, but it was another great day. Really enjoyed episode 1. For me, it was a little bit anxiety provoking. It was a little nervous. It was a little tense. I wanted it to be special because it was the first show, and so now that we've gotten that show out of the way, we're on to second episode. Feel really good. I feel good about the answers that I'm going to bring you today and some of the questions. So what do you guys think? Should we get into the show? Let's get into the show. I've heard that you are in the minds and hearts business. What does that mean? I've been thinking a lot lately just about kind of where I fit into the bigger picture of people and those people that I'm helping, and kind of the purpose of our program in the community at large, and just what we can bring and continue to bring to people, and them being able to live out their everyday lives. And you'll hear me talking a lot about cognitive behavioral therapy, and you'll hear me talking a lot about a variety of different skills and ways to manage everyday life. But I really started catching on to this idea that I'm in the minds and hearts business. And what I mean by that is that I really want to help people have positive minds and soft and open hearts. Positive minds and soft and open hearts. And if I feel like I can help people have positive minds and soft and open hearts, then I feel like I'm really adding value not only to the people that we're working with, but our overall community. And so the things, as I started thinking about this, the things that we do, if it would be cognitive behavioral skills, or if it would be encouraging people to be kind, or express gratitude and be appreciative of that, it really goes into the minds and the hearts of people. What I mean by being in someone's mind and having a positive mind is really believe the more positivity that you can bring into your life, the more, while you can't necessarily change the environment, but you can change the way that you think and feel and act in the environment, and really have your eyes and your ears and your heart focused on being positive. And being positive, I understand that we can't be positive all the time, but really that focus, that just direct focus on all the things that you do in your life, trying to turn towards positivity. That's what I mean by having a positive mind, and really being able to think your way through that. It takes a lot of self-awareness. I talked about self-awareness in the first episode, and you'll hear me talking a lot more about it. So having a positive mind, but then having a open and soft heart. So not just having a positive mind, but having an open and soft heart, and really being able to give to others and give to yourself in a variety of different ways. I think if we can do that, have a positive mind and a soft and open heart, then I feel really good about what I'm helping do, helping bring people that we work with in our community. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. It's starting to make more sense to me. I've got that focus on how can I help people have that positive mind regardless of situations in our life. We can't change those situations, and have that open and soft heart. So hope that helps. Let's go on to question 2. Oh, by the way, because I'm feeling good today and I want to bring you as much value as possible, I got 4 questions today. Episode 1 we had 3. Today we got 4. And do you have any parenting advice? And wow, this is a pretty broad question. I'm gonna have to get pretty narrow on my answer here, because as we know with parents, I'm a parent of 3, and there's so much information that I could give you. And I think that I'm gonna link up in this episode, I think a great video that I always give to parents, talking about how there's so many different ways to parent, and parenting is such a gray area, and that overall it's a little unrealistic for us to be able to to have the burden that our children's happiness is our responsibility. That's too much of a burden. Excuse me. It's not good for a host to be coughing in here, but it is live. We're all live here. No editing out of this. So I'll keep that in there. But is there any parenting advice that I can give you? I'll link up that video, by the way. Now here's what I think about when I initially start working with kids and parents. Is I think about that toddler, that 1-year-old, that 2-year-old, that 5-year-old, that 12-year-old, that 17-year-old. Oh, by the way, guys, your child's gonna turn 18 someday and be an adult, right? And you as a parent, what I really look at is, all along the way as they're aging, how this is all about development for me. So how can you as a parent be able to, as their age is increasing, you're parenting, how can we do that where at some point they take on more and more responsibilities, where they are doing more and more responsible for their life than you are? Sometimes I'm working with people and the child's age continues to go up, they get older, but the parents' responsibilities and how much the parents are managing that child's life, school, friendships, whatever, stays up here. So when you get to be age 18 and that child's 18 and or what I start seeing is 16, 17, the parents start getting a little nervous about, there's going to be a crisis that goes on here. What's going to happen as that child turns, and as I'm doing this, people around me are looking at me and waving, but what happens when it's time for them to leave the house and they don't have those skills necessary to be self-sufficient and independent? Of course, as a parent, they can always come back to you and ask for advice and that kind of stuff. But what I see a lot of times is parents, we get caught up in this world of just so much going on, and it may be more convenient or it may be more comfortable for you to do just things for your child. You may email that teacher, or you may do certain things, and life goes on. And so now here we are at some point, and this has just become a habit or a way of managing life. And so now, as your child may have less skills, not the skills to be able to do it on their own. And so what I like to do is I like to take a step back, and I just like to look at that with parents and say, all right, these things that you're doing to help your child, short term they may be helpful, but long term are they going to be helpful? And start to figure out plans how they might be able to decrease their parenting, even though their child may struggle some more. How can they decrease their parenting such where their child starts to learn some of these skills, take some responsibility? And you know, that's a plan, that's a strategic way of how we just have to manage and manipulate kind of some parenting situations. But that's the one thing that maybe I'll give you here on this first episode, or on the second episode, is just think about your child's development and understand as a parent that maybe what you think might be helping them, maybe helping them in the short term, but maybe not necessarily in the long term. How's that sound? Sound pretty good to you, parents? All right, question 3. Can you drop a little knowledge about panic attacks? So I'm going to drop a little knowledge here. I'm going to drop a little knowledge about panic attacks. And, you know, again, with all these questions can be so broad, and everyone's context is different. So it's hard for me to answer specifically how this might apply in your life. So my questions are going to seem a little broad in nature, just because we really have to fit this answer into many different contexts. So what I would say about panic, and again, I'll link up a book here too for you, a good resource to kind of look at, is when we start worrying about being anxious, when we start being anxious about being anxious, our mind and our body and our behaviors take over. And there's many different great resources that go into detail about how we can stop being anxious about being anxious. But I really enjoy Reed Wilson's take on this. And what Reed Wilson does is, and by the way, you should go check out the Noise in Your Head, noiseinyourhead.com, I think it is. I'll put a picture of it. Maybe I'll put a picture of it here, his website. But Reed Wilson talks about 2 things to overcome anxiety, and he calls it the playing the game, mental game with anxiety, or playing the game. He says you have to be uncomfortable. You have to be uncomfortable, and you have to be uncertain. You have to be uncomfortable, and you have to be uncertain. And really, if you can take the punch out of anxiety by saying, all right, I'm going to be uncomfortable. And if you can say, all right, I'm going to be uncertain, and I can handle it. I can handle it. Let's go, anxiety. Let's go, panic attacks. Let's go. Come on, let's go. If you can, what I talk about is celebrating being anxious, then kind of you'll see that the anxiety about being anxious kind of just dissipates. That there isn't this fear. You know, there's this fear of what happens when I start to get anxious, or what happens when I start to have a panic attack. I just feel out of control. And so what we want to try to do, and this is where cognitive behavioral therapy comes in, is start to develop some skills, some thoughts around the feelings in your body. Because what happens is those thoughts become connected to the physical sensations in your body, and you start to think that you can't, and oh my gosh, I can't control this, or what, you know, people are going to look at me and think I'm weird. But when we start to look at our thoughts, and we start to say, all right, if I start feeling anxious, if I still start feeling a panic attack, my thoughts are, here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to think about this. That, you know, this is just anxiety, and anxiety is not going to hurt me. Or a variety of different thoughts that you might have. Also, you're going to look at your behaviors, and with your behaviors, you're going to be like, you know what? Even though I feel anxious in these situations, or I've had a panic attack here, or whatever else, I'm not going to avoid it. Again, going back to Reed Wilson, and what he says is be uncomfortable. I'm going to put myself in that situation. Behaviorally, I'm going to put myself in that situation, and I'm going to be uncomfortable. I want to be uncomfortable. Why? Because the more uncomfortable I am, then the more that I can change the way that I think and I act towards anxiety. And guess what? when I start thinking differently, when I start acting differently, I don't feel as anxious. I don't feel as anxious. And that's a really cool part here. And so a way to think about just being able to manage those panic attacks or those anxiety is to start to change the way that you think and what you do, and start to feel like you can become uncomfortable and uncertain. How's that sound to you guys? Want to start to feel uncertain and comfortable? Let's do it. Last question here on episode 2. Any thought on how to help my 5-year-old child not be afraid of bugs? Great question. We get this question a lot. And you know, I think the parenting advice maybe that I give about, you know, don't doing too much for your child, that kind of stuff, we can start to kind of really try to protect and pad our children from the bugs or whatever it would be. I'm not going to go there with this question. With this question I'm going to go to, I really like to, with 5-year-olds, because, you know, they think in concrete ways. It's hard for them to think in abstract ways. And children that young, and they're just in the moment. I like to externalize that anxiety. Externalizing that anxiety, so giving that anxiety a name. So maybe you give the bugs a name, maybe you give the anxiety a name, and what we start to say is, you know what? It's so nice outside. Let's start to talk about those bugs and anxiety's name as, I don't know, Spiky. Maybe the bug's got spiky or something. It got spikes or something. I don't know. Some like dinosaur bug. I don't know. But Spiky's saying, you know what? Go inside, Randy. No. And I'm gonna say, no, Spiky, I'm not gonna go inside. It's awesome out today, Spiky. I'm not gonna let you control me, because I know that it's awesome outside. I wanna be outside, and I'm not gonna let you, Spiky, control me. And I'm gonna show you that I can manage, I'm not gonna let you make me afraid of you, and so I'm gonna stay out here. And what we want to do is we want your child to start to kind of battle, in per se, or in a way battle that external kind of character that we've given anxiety, and we want to see how long your child can tolerate that. So so maybe we say, you know what, Spiky wants us to go inside right away. What about we just stay at her for a couple minutes and we battle anxiety? Maybe we just stay over here. You know, Spiky's not gonna let us gonna tell us to go inside. We're not gonna listen to that. Let's stay here for a couple minutes, and then after a couple minutes, if you want to go inside, we can go inside. What we want to do is, as time goes on, we want to kind of push that time out even more, where we're battling Spiky even more, and maybe where we were further away at some point, maybe we get closer to Spiky. You know, again, I know there's a lot of different situations that you may come into contact with here, but just to start to understand with your 5-year-old child is maybe making a game of it and externalizing that anxiety, and having them develop confidence that little old Spiky doesn't have to control them and go inside, because they really wanted to go to the park and they were so excited, and then they saw Spiky and then they wanted to leave and go home. Maybe we can say we can still enjoy it even though Spiky's there. So hopefully that's helpful. Again, I know you know, there are a variety of situations that we all come in contact with in these 4 questions, but hopefully that gets you to start to think about ways that you might be able to manage your anxiety or your child's anxiety or various other things. So episode 2 in the books. Episode 2 from the Corner Bakery here. I felt really good about this. We're gonna keep doing these. My goal is to bring you as much value, to answer as many questions as possible, to be out amongst the people in the community, and just really trying to be a help to you and many other people as much as I can, as in creative ways as possible if I can. And this show is, I think, one of those ways creatively that I can help you and so many others. So episode 2's down. Question of the day for you is, I'm here at the Corner Bakery. I love the Corner Bakery. Episode 1, I asked you where you like to hang out. Here's one I got for you. As a child, I was afraid of, and still am. I'm looking at Shields over there. I'm here at Corbin Park. I was afraid of Ferris wheels and noisy ceiling fans. That's a story for a different day. But what are you afraid of now or in the past? We talked about spiky. I'm interested to know about all those fears out there. Leave your fear in the comments. I'd love to hear people's fears of what you're afraid of. Been great. Would love to answer your questions. Make sure you go to any of our social media channels. Tweet us at MidwestAnxiety, hashtag AskMidwestAnxiety. Go to our Facebook page, go to Instagram, connect with us. Ask us your question. I would love to answer it on a future episode. Until next time, guys, take good care.
This life gets a little tough.
A couple parenting questions today, and I started thinking about we've got a class coming up on March 1st, Anxious Kids equals Anxious Parents. It's live online, parents. Don't even have to leave your house. No need to get a babysitter. Put on your comfy clothes, turn on your computer, sit back. It's live online. Sit back and just enjoy it. March 1st, Anxious Kids, Anxious Parents. Go check it out. And just because I appreciate you giving us your attention, if you use the promo code thank you, you'll get it for free.
The people start to run.